It's working. All right. All right. So if anybody's on with me, hang on. I'm trying to get Instagram up as well. Facebook was having some issues. So hang on. I'm going to put my phone here. So that way I can talk to both of you at the same time. All right. We are rolling. Rolling. All right. Sorry. I'm a little late. Facebook Live was not going, and I didn't want to start Instagram Live until Facebook Live was up because Instagram, hey John, Instagram is shorter. So Instagram, I literally have to do it in an hour. Otherwise, it's going to cut me off. And I don't know if I can log back on and continue a Facebook Live. Instagram Live. So we're just going to see how this goes. So anyway, good morning. Hi, Facebook friends. Hi, Instagram friends. So literally, I have my computer and my phone. And I am not good with this stuff, at all. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we shall see. So welcome. So I know I kind of sprung this on you guys quickly, like yesterday. I just kind of felt like this was something I wrote a couple of weeks ago. And I just kind of felt like based on, hi Cole, based on feedback and questions and the meditation challenge, and which I love you guys so much for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that. I just kind of felt like more help was needed now. So I might do more of these. I don't know. It's going to depend. If you like these and you find them helpful, I'll do more. If people don't pay attention to it, then I'm not going to do any more. I don't really know. Right? I just kind of wing it. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is healing anxiety and trauma, because this is something that I understand and I know about. And, the whole idea of me doing the meditation challenge, which I hate calling it a meditation challenge, but I didn't really know what else to call it, was just to help, right? To just share some stuff, because I'm going to be really, really honest. I am not doing fine right now either, as I'm sure you are not either. Hi, Mom. I love that my mom watches this stuff. She's the reason why, or my parents are the reason why I'm even here doing this, because they have spent so much money on therapy for me. You guys have no idea. So thank you, Mom. You have made this. So the meditation challenge, the whole idea was really just to share tools that I use in my everyday life and things that I'm using right now to just kind of help, because we're not okay. We're not fine. And the last couple of weeks, I've really, when somebody says, "Oh, how are you?" Unless it's like some random stranger, I'm not responding with, "I'm fine," because I'm not fine. And that's just such a crappy word, really. It's just such a blanket. It's like, let me put on my fine mask and everything's fine, but you take off your mask and you're like losing your mind. So that's where this comes in. So what we're going to talk about are 5 steps that I have been using right now. And they're things that I've used a lot over the years to just try to help give you some tools for your tool belt. And hi, Richard. I'm glad you think fine sucks too, right? Good. I think that's going to be our new mantra. Fine sucks. So that's what we say in our house anyway, and I'm totally good with it. So number 1. So if you've been doing this meditation challenge, you already know this. Number 1 thing to do when you are feeling anxious is to breathe. And the reason why this is important, and all of these tools are important, is because the longer you are anxious, the more likely you are, hi Percy, hi Sachi, the more likely you are to get depressed. And that was something that I didn't know. I didn't realize until I was told that the longer you are anxious, eventually, because of the hormonal changes and the increase of the cortisol, that you're going to get depressed at some point. And that can be very blindsiding, especially if you have no idea. So these tools are to really help with getting the feelings out so that they're not getting stuck in you. And breathing is something that our body does automatically, right? It's something that we don't typically think about, but just simply pausing and breathing is absolutely life changing, especially when you're stressed. So, one thing that I have really learned as a yoga teacher is people breathe in reverse. A lot of time, if you're not thinking about it, right, people will inhale and they'll suck their belly in and pop their chest out. And then when they exhale, they're like, right, and everything just kind of goes to mush. It's actually the reverse, right? So, to take a deep breath, we want to inhale through the nose, come all the way down, right? Some of you will know this is what's called the three-part breath, right? Breathing down into the base of the lungs, filling up through your rib cage, and then up into the chest, right? So if you're anxious, a lot of times you are more of a chest breather where, your chest will move when you're breathing, but there's nothing happening in your rib cage or in your belly. And when that's have Laura, can you see me okay? I love that technologically challenged. Me too. Um, so when that happens, your diaphragm muscle, which is at the base of the rib cage, underneath, right? It's not working if you're not expanding through your lungs. Okay. So number one for our tips is focusing on your breath. So we're going to start okay, good. I'm glad it's working. So we're going to start with just simply taking some slow, deep breaths together, right? So I'm going to have you sit nice and tall, right? Relax your shoulders, right? And do whatever's comfortable with your hands. You can turn them up, turn them down, put them in your lap, right? Just have them on your side, whatever works, right? And we're just going to begin to just close your eyes. Right, soften through your shoulders. Just make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall. So sitting up tall is important because you're going to be able to expand your lungs and expand through your rib cage better if you are sitting really, really tall and with your spine straight. Okay. So we're going to start to take a nice big deep breath in through your nose. Fill up your belly. Pause at the top. And then we're just going to take a nice long deep breath out your nose or your mouth, whatever works best for you. But again, just focusing and just bringing that breath to the belly. Okay. Let's take another nice big deep breath in together. Expanding that belly. And then exhale and just letting it go. So we're going to bring the rib cage in. So we're going to begin to bring the breath in through your nose. Expand through your belly and then expand through your rib cage. Pause at the top and then exhale and just release. Good. One more like that. Take a big deep breath in. Fill the belly, fill the rib cage. Then exhale, just gently releasing. Okay, so now we're going to add on with your chest. So we'll inhale, bringing the breath all the way down to the base of your lungs, so all the way into your belly. Fill up through your rib cage. And then see if you can fill up through the chest. Pause at the top. See if you can sniff in just a little bit more air. And then exhale and just let it go. Okay, let's take two more like that. Take a nice big deep breath in, filling up through the belly, the rib cage, the chest. Then we'll exhale and just gently let it go. And just take one more time. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. And just bringing your breath back to a normal rhythm for you. But again, really paying attention to when you're breathing, how are you breathing? Are you breathing where it's more into the chest? Right? Again, this is not meant to be any kind of a judgment. It's not, oh, well, you're not breathing right. It's what's happening, right? Knowledge is power. So if you're anxious all the time and you're like, holy crap, I'm just breathing into my chest. Well, guess what? You're not getting enough oxygen going through your body, which is going to affect you mentally, right? So slowing your breath, if you do nothing else, slowing your breath is absolutely going to help when you feel anxious, even when you don't feel anxious, right? But especially if you start noticing, sometimes you wake up in the morning, I don't know about you, but some mornings I wake up and, I'm just rolling with it and everything's going. And then all of a sudden something goes wrong and anxiety snaps. And hey, Priya, and so when stuff like that happens, as soon as you feel that is when it's a great time to do a breathing technique. Literally stop what you're doing if you can. If you're in the car driving, do a breathing technique. Just obviously don't close your eyes if you're driving, right? That's common sense. So these are things that are super easy to do, right? And please know, if you have a question, just pop your question on and, I will try to answer your question as we're going, because if you're thinking it, I can guarantee you others are thinking it as well. Okay, so hang on, Cole, these breathing techniques have been a godsend. I'm so glad. Me too. Right? Teach these to your kids. If you have kids, teach them to your partner, your spouse, your friends, right? I'm not putting these up every day for any other reason than to help you and to help you share it, right? Share it. Not that you have to share the post, but if you're living with somebody and you're like, hey, I did this breathing technique and it really helped me, and I see that you're having a moment, let's do this together, right? Share it. Because think about the ripple effect, right? When I share it to you, right? So I'm feeling it, I like it, it works for me. I share it to you, you like it, it works for you. You share it to somebody, they like it, it works for them, right? They share it. Think of that ripple effect, right? I think the world needs as much peace and calm as we can put into it right now. Okay, number 2 is fear. This is a huge one right now. So if you've ever done a seminar with me, if you've ever done a workshop with me, if you read my book, you know that I've always used the acronym false evidence appearing real for fear. Well, that's not working right now because it's just not going to work right now. I don't know about you, but I've never been through this kind of crazy time before. So, some of what's worked in the past just isn't appropriate. So I came up with a new acronym for fear, and I have notes because I don't want to mess this up. Okay, so number 1, F, forgive yourself. That's huge because when we are in lockdown, it is very easy to have too much time on your hands and start going through things from your past and, thinking about all the things that you should have done differently. That's something that people have asked me about so much lately. I'm thinking about this, and you can't, that's like trying to drive, looking forward but go backwards. You can't move forward and look back at the same time. And trying to look back with the knowledge that you have right now about your past, it doesn't make any sense, because if you knew then what you know now, things would probably be very different. Yeah, and I think most of us are going through that to some degree right now, that looking through things that we're like, wow, I really wish I did that differently. Um, by the same token, if you're really anxious right now, forgive yourself. If you are grabbing onto unhealthy, tools because you're just trying to cope, forgive yourself. This is not a time to beat yourself up, to make yourself feel worse, or to guilt yourself, because there's enough going on right now. So if you needed somebody to give you permission, here it is. Forgive yourself. Okay? Yesterday, I had a bad moment, and homeschooling is challenging. I'm going to tell you that right now. And Cole, I know you know what I'm talking about. And I really was losing my patience, and I was getting really frustrated. And I stepped away, and I came back, and I said, okay, I'm sorry. I am doing my best. I'm not a teacher, and teachers need to really make like $1 million a year, because this is hard stuff. And I got nothing. I have a fifth grader. Fifth grade is very different from when I was a fifth grader. So, I could have held on to that and been like, I'm such a terrible mother. I was losing my patience because my kid didn't do what she was supposed to do. No, I'm not going to make it worse, right? So forgive yourself for whatever it is. If you're reliving things from your past that you wish you could change, forgive yourself. You can't. We can't change anything. What you can change is going forward, right? Making different choices. And I read a quote a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was so great. And it said that it's not a mistake if you choose to learn from it and not do it again, right? It's a learning experience. So, and we all have them. Otherwise, think of how boring your life would be if you never made a mistake and learned from it and made new choices and became better for it, right? That's how we grow. Okay. E, enjoy moments. When we are feeling anxious, it's easy to just have a tunnel vision about that anxiety, and this sucks, and this is awful, and this is horrible, and I hate this. It's very easy to really get caught up in that. So something that I always recommend is what I call enjoy moments. And it's not, putting on your mask and being like, everything is wonderful, but it's finding small things. For me, going bike riding with my daughter, so much fun, right? I grab for that moment, and we have a good time, and it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel joyful, right? And then thinking about that, I can carry that good feeling through the day. So it's finding some good and then running with it. Because as soon as you start to change your perception and look and try to find something good, you're going to see more good, right? Last year we moved. Hi Amy, just 10 minutes away, and it was so much more stressful than I realized. And my daughter had a much harder time with the adjustment than I realized, and I had to take her back and forth each day to school because we couldn't take the bus anymore. And she was really kind of caught up in this anxiety and in this stress. And so I started to tell her every morning on our drive, look for the good, look for the helpers. Tell them, I want to know at the end of your day, 5 things that you saw the good, that you found the joy that made you happy. And then every day she would get in the car, and I would, we'd say, hey, how was your day? And tell me the 5 things. And then she would be like, bup, 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 and tell me these 5 things. Well, interestingly enough, it became like a game. And then by the 3rd day, she found like 15 things. And then I was like, wow, well, if you can find 15 things, do you think you can find 20? And it just became this thing to where it broke within like a week, broke that cycle of her only focusing on her stress, right? And that's not something that just works for kids. It is something, you're right, putting the mask on is fearful. This works for adults too, right? So find any little moment that you can and just grab hold of it and just hold it tight and use it, right? And the minute you find one good thing, you will find more good things. Okay. Next one. This one is probably the hardest one for me, is allow support. So A, allow support. It is okay to not be okay. It is okay to be scared. It is okay to do your best. It is okay to feel like some moments you are not holding it together. It is okay, right? You can see this goes right along with forgive yourself, right? One thing that I think is super important, and I'm awful at this, and I'm really, really, really actively trying to work on it, is allowing support, right? It is very easy to give support. It is very hard for some of us to allow support. So if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time, reach out, talk about it. I am here for you. So if you need to shoot me a message and just be like, I'm having a day or I'm having a hard time, you'll get a message back from me saying, I got you. Like, I understand. I feel the same way. I don't know about y'all, but this was a really crappy week. Like, this was an awful week. That it is what it is, right? But again, I just keep looking for the joy. Like, hanging out with y'all. I understand that I'm talking to you through a computer and a phone right now, but this brings me so much joy because we're all connecting. And clearly, if y'all felt fine, you wouldn't be here, right? So, again, just supporting one another and supporting people in your life. I think that's how it is. Allowing support is the hardest. Us all supporting one another, that's how we're going to get through this. And these are tools that we're going to continue to learn together, that as we go through the rest of our lives, you're going to always have these tools. I'm going to always have these tools. A lot of this stuff are things that I've learned in therapy over the years that I still use today. And, once you have these tools, you'll always have them. It's just up to you whether or not you're going to use them, right? But you're going to have them. So that's huge. Okay, so R. I've already had this discussion with some of you. The R is for right now. And so when you're having a bad moment, you're having a bad moment right now, right? Tuesday, I had a really crappy day. And every time I thought about it, I just kept saying, all right, having a crappy day right now. I feel very upset right now. I feel very attacked right now. And everything that I said right now. So much so that my husband, when we were talking later that evening, he was like, I know you're feeling bad right now. Like, yes, I'm feeling red right now, right? When you put it in the right now, you are reminding yourself that it is not permanent, right? It is temporary, and it might really suck right now, but it's temporary, right? And I think that is such, for mental well-being, I think that is such an important thing to know and to remember, because when you think about things, sometimes you are really thinking about something being so difficult, and it's so difficult and it's so hard, right? And then it seems like it's going to be like that forever. But when you say to yourself, this is really hard right now, this is making me feel bad right now, I feel angry right now, whatever it is you're feeling, you're validating how you're feeling, which is huge. And you're also telling yourself, this is temporary. This is not forever. It is not going to be like this forever. Even if you're not out loud saying, it's not going to be forever, right? And when we talk to ourselves like this, we want to do it from a realistic standpoint. I am by no means suggesting, put on rose-colored glasses and be like, it's all fine. It's not. So it will be at some point, but for right now, it's challenging, right? So that is my new acronym for fear. Okay? Forgive yourself, enjoy moments, allow support, and right now, right? Remembering it's right now. Okay. Number 3. Oh, this one is probably one that I use the most, other than breathing and meditation, because I have a lot of anxious energy. And people are really surprised when I say that, because a lot of times people will say to me, "You are so calm." And sometimes I'll say, "You should have seen me an hour ago." You know, a lot of the time I am calm because I use my tools all the time. Um, but one thing that I have learned when you have anxious energy is you have to learn how to be productive with it, and channel that energy. So, one thing that I started doing about a year ago was I started making a list every single morning of 5 things that I needed to get done every single day. And I don't mean, make the bed or do the laundry. It was 5 things that I absolutely needed to get done that day. And it helped me focus on, okay, these are tasks that I need to do. And I can do anything I need to after that. But these 5 things, and you can put them in order of importance or not. For me, that's how I usually do it is, something that I'm like, this absolutely has to get done is number one. And then I just go down the list to the least importance. If I don't finish the list by the end of the day, I don't stress about it. I just say I get through 4. I'll take number 5 and move that to number 1 the next day and check that off, and then just kind of go down the list. So, reason why that's important is when you have anxious energy, it is very easy to be like the road runner, where you're like, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. So, channeling that energy into a productive list where then you cross off the list, it mentally will help you feel calm. You're going to feel like you have control. You're going to feel more productive, more positive, right? And it gets things done. And, I don't think most people do well with just tons of free time on their hands. So, really kind of creating a list for yourself really, really helps, I think. I have notes, but I said what I wanted to say. Did anybody have any questions about anything right now? All right. Y'all are easy. Okay, so let me see what's next. Oh, self-care. I love talking about self-care. So, self-care. Huge. Hi, Rachel. Self-care is so important. Okay. Self-care can be anything that you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to cost any money. It doesn't have to take a ton of time. It can be things like just going out for a walk by yourself to clear your head. Okay. It could be taking a bath. It could be playing cards with a friend. I mean, or right now, a spouse. It could be something really, really simple that just is very relaxing for you and very, very calming. I love seeing how so many people have picked up hobbies from their past. Like my niece has been painting, and I love that. Sorry, Fatch, I hope you don't mind me sharing that. And I love that because she's creating these beautiful pictures, and she loves to paint. She is so super artsy, and yet right now she has the time to do it, and she's doing it, and it's making her feel happy, which again mentally helps, right? I have friends that have taken back up knitting or cross stitching. I'm not good with things like that, but doing things that bring you joy is self-care, right? It shouldn't be anything connected to what you do for a living, and it shouldn't be anything that you deem as work. If you're like, oh, thank you. If you feel like, oh, I got to get my self-care done, right, you're kind of defeating the whole point. Like for me, my self-care is not my yoga practice anymore. It used to be, but because I teach, my self-care is walking my dog, right? That is, I call it Mommy and Hudson time, right? That is non-negotiable time every single day, 7 days a week. If it rains, I wait for a break in the rain and I take them for a walk because it brings me so much joy. And if you know anything about me, you know I am obsessed with my dog and I love him so, so much. I would totally have him in here with me right now, but he would be blocking the screen to say hello because he's super friendly. So it can be anything that just really makes you feel happy. The other thing with self-care is you got to do it every day. And you don't need an hour a day. It can be 10 or 15 minutes, right? At least 10 minutes. And let's be really honest. Everybody's got 10 minutes in their day. You can get up a few minutes earlier. You can get off social media early or, not scroll quite so much. And, there you go. There's your time right there. But everybody's got the time. And when people tell me I don't have time for self-care, my response is always, do you have time to feel like crap? Right? Because again, it could be 10 minutes a day. And it's amazing how much better you will feel. Something, Mom, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. Something that I love that I started doing in January, because I have witnessed my mom do this over the years, is every morning she starts her day with a stack of books and she reads like these meditations and prayers and all of this stuff. And in December, I was thinking of I wanted to add something new into my day to kind of start my day off on just a really positive way. And her doing that so many years popped into my head. And I was like, I am totally going to do that. So I went and I ordered a book that I can remember her reading. And, it's, an affirmation, kind of a passage every day for the entire year. And I got it and I've been doing it and it's really nice. It's a nice way to start the day. So for me, that's just another way to do self-care. Okay. So, hi, Maria. So you can see you don't need a ton of time. You don't need to spend any money. The other thing is you cannot cram your self-care into a weekend and expect that to carry you through the entire week. Okay. Having fun on the weekends when life resumes more, where we can actually go out more, is great. Right? But you can't jam a ton of fun and stuff into Saturday and Sunday and then expect that to carry you through the rest of the week. It doesn't work like that. Right? So again, a few minutes every single day will really, really help. I guarantee you, right? If you know anything about me, you know that I don't make promises that I know I can't keep. That is golden rule for me. I will not say the word I promise unless I know I can do it. And I'm going to tell you this honestly, I absolutely promise if you try something for you for self-care that makes you feel good, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel calm and peaceful, then I promise you it absolutely will help. So absolutely. Okay. So that was number 4, self-care. Last one, if you're doing the meditation challenge, you know this one. It's a peripheral vision meditation. So this was something that I learned in 2002. I started seeing a cognitive behavioral therapist for a short time. And he taught me, amongst lots of other amazing things, this technique. And I did it for a while. It was one of those things that I never taught. So it kind of just like went to the back burner. And over the last few weeks, I started practicing it again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how absolutely amazing this is. This is so calming to your nervous system because when you are so focused on something, right, and you're bringing all your attention to it, and then you gradually begin to expand your peripheral vision, it is just signaling the brain that it is okay to calm down. So this is so, so helpful. I have been practicing this one amongst some of these other techniques every single day. And it does not take long to do. You can do it within, 2 or 3 minutes. And the nice thing about it is if later on you're having another bad moment, you can just very simply do it again and put yourself in a different room, and you're going to see things totally different. But it really helps shift your perception from a tunnel vision to expanding and really seeing things differently, right? So if you think back to your life, right, and you think about how much you've learned from certain experiences, you're looking at things from a different perspective now, it's a perspective you didn't have then, right? So this is kind of that same idea where you were just focusing on something, and then we're working to expand through your vision to just help calm down. So we're going to do this one together. So with this one, I want you to just look around and find an object that you can stare at. So don't have me near you, because if you watch me, I'm going to distract you, and this is not going to work. So what you really want to think about. So I have my water bottle. I can use my water bottle. I can use, what else do I have? I have Hudson's dog bed over here. I can use Hudson's dog bed, which has 8 gazillion Hudson hairs on it, right? Find something that you can look at, that you can absolutely stare at, that is not a person, is not a dog, has no blood flow and oxygen going through it. I don't even recommend looking at plants if you have live plants in your house. I don't even recommend looking at those, only because if you have like a ceiling fan on, and it moves, then you're going to be distracted by it. Okay, so find something to look at. Okay, and we're going to sit nice and tall. Right, and I want you to just take some nice deep breaths. Right, so you can go back to that 3-part breath that we were doing before. You can just take nice, slow, deep breaths. Right, but just try to see if you can expand through your belly, through your rib cage, and through your chest. And I want you to just take notice of your object. And just notice everything about it. Okay, notice the color, any particular features. And if you find that you start getting distracted and thoughts start popping in, just take a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out. And continuing to really stare and focus at your object. Just begin to see if you can notice just around that object, right? Whether it's part of the wall, the floor, maybe furniture. And again, just take nice, long, deep breaths. And then start to see if you can expand with your peripheral vision a little bit further out. Right, so maybe you start seeing a little bit more of the wall, a little bit more furniture, Maybe you start to notice the ceiling, the doorway. Again, still focusing on that object. And then start to see if you can see just a little bit further. So again, you're still staring at your object. Maybe you can see a good percent of the room that you're in. Now take a nice big deep breath in through your nose. Exhaling out your mouth. And nice big deep breath in through your nose. Exhaling out your mouth. One more time. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. And just very gently, just begin to close your eyes. Take another nice big deep breath in through your nose. Exhaling out your mouth. And then it's just beginning to bring your breath back to normal. And we'll just gently begin to reopen your eyes. So, how do you feel? I love that one. I think that one is really, really helpful. It was really interesting. When I first learned it, I didn't realize how powerful it actually was, but it really relaxes your parasympathetic nervous system. So it's very, very calming. And again, all you're doing is staring and then just gradually expanding through your vision. I did forget to say that if you wear glasses, that one is hard. Only because, good, I'm glad you feel relaxed. Because like I wear glasses, I can't do that one with my glasses on, because obviously I see very differently when I have my glasses on as when I'm using my peripheral vision. So those are the 5 steps that I recommend right now for anxiety and to help you heal from this trauma. Right? This is a really traumatic time. If you think about, those of us that were adults when September 11th happened, think about what that trauma felt like at the time, right? It's very traumatic. This is very different, but it's still very traumatic. So honoring the fact that it's traumatic and honoring that it's difficult, I think is really, really important. But the one blessing in this whole thing is that none of us are alone in our feelings. Everybody is scared. Everybody is overwhelmed. I have yet to come across anybody that is like, it's all going to be fine. We're all concerned. But it's learning how to manage the chaotic feelings that you're feeling, and, the feelings of being out of control, because we are all out of control, and really learning how to create some good habits from these difficult times, so that way you're not running to alcohol, or you're not running to food, or you're not running to sex, or you're not running to, any other self-destructive habit that maybe you've used in the past to help you get through difficult times, right? Now you have 5 tools that will help you, right now. So any questions? Because I've said what I needed to say. So I want to support you. Oh, thank you, Richard. You're so sweet. But yeah, seriously, because I'm going to guarantee if one of you is thinking something, many of you are. So hit me up with your questions, right? If you're thinking it, ask it. There's no silly questions. I'm just going to wait. Okay, so for those of you doing the meditation challenge, right? We're on our last week. That's crazy. So somebody asked me the other day, why did I pick 21 days? Because it takes 21 days of consistency to create a habit. Especially a really healthy habit. I also didn't think I could do 30 days because I didn't know if I could come up with 30 different things. But surprisingly, I have. So, we're going to complete the 21 days together. But if you're interested, I'll still pop on with different meditations. I haven't figured that out. I just kind of am working. Okay, here's the 21 days, and I haven't really thought too much of a plan after that. Okay, no other questions? We still have a few minutes before Instagram kicks me off. Are y'all looking at me the way I'm looking at you? Okay, well, if none of you have any questions, that's all I got. So just please know that you are not alone, that I'm absolutely here for you. I think we have gotten together such a really beautiful community of like-minded people with this meditation challenge. And it's been such a gift for me. So if you think I have helped you, you guys have helped me twice as much, because in doing this, it's really, really helped me. And it really helps bring us all together. So thank you for that. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm just reading. Y'all are so sweet. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, thank you. Yes, we want to keep the ripple effect going. Okay, I will continue the meditations. My mother is a therapist and she does CBT and swears by breathing. Yes, right? Breathing. If you do nothing else, just keep, right? Think of Finding Dory, just keep swimming. In my house, I'm like, just keep breathing. I know. Corky is there. Aw, I'm so glad. Aw, thank you, Amy. All right, so if you guys have no more questions, I'm going to sign off. But again, if you think of a question later on today, or if there's something that you wanted to ask me that you did not want to post visibly, right, I'll be around. So I'm really not going anywhere except to Hudson. So, please feel free to reach out to me privately. Just know that I'm here for you. And I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.